If you're using somebody else's content on social media, is it enough to protect you to say credit to the creator or some variation of that? Today, we're talking to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer to find out more to make sure you're legally protected when you're posting things online.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
I keep getting the question, Tony, from creators who are putting other people's content on their social platforms about whether or not it is enough for them to say credit to the creator in order to protect them when they're using someone else's content. Is that something that we can do, and does it offer us any protection?
So that's going to be a firm no, Houston. There is nothing good about something like that. If I had $1 for every time I've heard that, no copyright infringement intended, or DM for credit, I would be a millionaire by now. Probably would have a penthouse in Malibu or something. But I just am like astounded by the number of people out there that think that evading copyright infringement by making a statement like that is good enough. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So let's break it down, like in a nutshell, what it's all about. When anybody makes any copyrighted work, whether you're talking about a video, photo, sculpture, anything that would qualify as a work of authorship under copyright law, there are rights that vest with that specific copyright owner who spent that time to make that video, make that photo, make that sculpture, whatever the case may be. Those rights vary from the right to make reproductions out of that original copyrighted work, the right to publicly display it, the right to publicly perform it, anything of that sort. Those are rights that vest with the copyright owner. So if someone threw up a social media post, let's say of them doing a skit, that they're the copyright owner of that skit, theoretically, because they were the creators of it and they posted it on their social media. Especially if it's like, let's say, a selfie video, definitely theirs. That doesn't mean by posting on social media that everybody has carte blanche access to use that video in whatever way they want. And especially the entirety of that video, to just rip it and then put it up on social media on their own channels. So, at the end of the day, you have to be aware that, doing something, that type of activity would qualify as copyright infringement. And so, again, we've talked about this in plenty of videos. Copyright infringement is all about taking someone else's copyrighted work, and the only way that you can succeed in a copyright infringement claim is if there's a valid copyright, meaning that the original work of authorship, the work that's been infringed on, is registered as a copyrighted work in the U.S. Copyright Office. One of those exclusive rights that I referenced before was violated, and then in addition, the infringer had access to the original copyrighted work, and the infringing work is substantially similar to the origin work. So let's say a TikTok user found a really funny skit that they rip and they post it up on their TikTok account, that act is copyright infringement because they didn't even take the effort to even contact the copyright owner and throw it up. Actually, this is even like giving me flashbacks to like a few months ago. There was like this whole phenomena, which I was alarmed at. I don't even know like how I was like to the point that I was so disgusted at how ill-informed people were. But people were saying that there was this guy named Bob Tick who would take videos or like sounds that belong to people, rip them from someone else's account, post them on his account, then register the work in the U.S. Copyright Office, and then use that as leverage to take the person that actually made that sound or actually made that video, would use that as leverage to take that video down on TikTok and cause a account strike and all that. And there were people that were saying, Bob Tick, if you register your works, otherwise you won't be able to, you're going to lose the copyright. TikTok sound. I'm going to quote a TikTok sound. That is so not true. The bottom line is Bob Tick, people like that are misrepresenting themselves as the true copyright owner. He's the infringer, if anything else. And you do have action against him. Why? Because you could file a cease and desist against him. You could work with TikTok to file a takedown notice. And better yet, you could hire a lawyer to then contact Bob Tick that then can create some massive leverage against him to stop what he's doing, or better yet, file a lawsuit. Don't even waste your time with the Copyright Office and the Copyright Claims Board. Go to federal court and actually file a federal lawsuit against Bob Tick, so long as you can find his location or whatever. Do it that way. That's like proof positive evidence of copyright infringement that takes place all the time. And he's not even taking the effort to say credit to the creator. He's not even doing that. But all that to say, activity like that with BobTech and so much more exists constantly on social media. And the others that do this type of activity are writing DM for credit. They are writing no copyright infringement intended. They are writing credit to the creator. All that smells, acts, tastes, looks, feels is copyright infringement. So when that happens, they're not doing it the right or kosher way.
And so we have to be incredibly careful that we are not infringing on anyone else's copyright. We want to make sure that we are not using other people's content without proper licensure, which we talk about all the time here on the channel. We'll link the playlist down below for you. And if you start to see some things that might feel a little sketchy on social media and you're not sure if you are or aren't allowed to do those legally, drop those down below. Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes so we can break this down to make sure you're not making silly mistakes like this just because you see them out on the internet. And if you have further questions, you can always reach out to Tony on his platforms. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor. You can check out my podcast, Scene, an entertainment law podcast, released every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you have more questions, drop them down below. Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes, and we want to make sure we're keeping you legally protected in the entrepreneurial space. We do not want you messing up online and getting sued. So drop your questions, drop your comments, and follow along, because every single day we are dropping brand new episodes to help you navigate the world of TikTok, Instagram, Lemonade, YouTube, live streaming, and the tools and resources you need to save time and effort creating your social content so you can make more money online, but spend less time and stress doing it. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.